Japan is bracing for more aftershocks following a series of earthquakes on New Year's Day. Authorities have now confirmed at least 30 people killed, and it's feared that that number could rise as rescue crews struggle to reach some of the hardest hit areas.
Yeah, man, and you have Mark 13.8 specifically talking about that. You know, also the verse about the main earthquake, what will be really soon. But the main other verse, when it talks about you have nations rising against other nations, man, kingdoms against kingdoms, which is Mark 13:8, man. Okay, Mark 13:8. Look that up, man. So it's the time what we was waiting for, man, you know. So is it not Gog and Magog, which is Russia, fighting against Ukraine, all basically already since, I believe, 2 years now, maybe, almost, you know. Not specifically, but 2 years almost, man. And then you have now this Israel and Palestine thing really, you know, kind of like being even worse, man. Okay, from the beginning. Because it was really this Palestine Israel thing really was going on even before the Ukraine Russia war, man. So really it's going down, man. If you can't see it, man, it's on you, man. If you can't see it, it's on you, man. You see? So really, man, you know, 2024 will be a really heavy year. Okay, and you will see it, man. You scoffer out there, man. You will see it, man. Okay, so really, you know, all praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahweh Shai, Ba'ashem Kakodash, and double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone. Okay, double honors to the elders and apostles of Great Millstone, man. Shalom.
Dozens of tremors shook Japan's west coast, hitting the Ishikawa prefecture. The strongest had a magnitude of 7.6. More than 30,000 homes were left without power, but the government says nuclear power plants were not affected. The army has been called in to help with rescue operations, and nearly 100,000 people ordered to leave their homes.
Firefighters worked to extinguish the blazes in the center of Wajima, a city in Japan's Ishikawa region, after a series of earthquakes shook the coastal area on Monday. The authorities said dozens of stores and houses were damaged in the fires that followed. The death toll is expected to rise as troops and rescue teams reach the worst affected areas. Japan's Prime Minister Fumio Kishida set out what helicopter surveys have found so far.
I have received reports that very large-scale damage has been confirmed, including numerous human casualties, building collapses, and fires.
Almost 100,000 people had to leave their homes and stay in shelters, like this gym. Japan's meteorological agency warned that more strong shocks could hit in the coming days. On a day where many Japanese gather at shrines to offer prayers for the new year, the quake measuring 7.6 magnitude struck in the afternoon. And dozens of smaller quakes followed. With roads damaged and buildings destroyed, the more remote northern parts of Ishikawa are inaccessible, and the Prime Minister called the efforts to rescue the survivors a battle against time.
Let's speak to journalist Sonia Blaszka in Tokyo for more. Sonia, the death toll has been rising as search and rescue teams are arriving on site. And I understand access to isolated areas has been a problem. Have they now been able to reach some of those most affected areas?
To be honest, it's even difficult to tell you because also the news outlets are not able to go there and report because everything's blocked, and we've basically had to rely on helicopter images as well. Thankfully, because of the cancellation of the tsunami warning, now they can access the area from the sea because that was an issue when the tsunami warning was still in place. So that is an option. But a lot of roads are damaged. There are numerous reports and images of landslides blocking roads, even cars under those landslides.
In Japan, Prime Minister Fumio Kishida says the country has reached a critical point as rescuers race to find survivors of the powerful earthquake that struck on New Year's Day. The death toll now has risen to 62. Dozens of people are believed to still be trapped under collapsed buildings. Heavy rain is forecast in the Ishikawa prefecture, where the quake hit. That has prompted fears of landslides, which could hamper the rescue efforts and cause further damage. DW correspondent James Chater is following the story for us on Japan's west coast, and he gave us this update.
Well, just to give you a sense of where we are right now, we're in Uchinada, which is about a couple of hours or so drive south of the worst affected areas, which is right up on the northern part of the Noto Peninsula. I have to say, though, even here, the situation does feel a little bit tense. Just before we came on air, actually, there are about 30 or so fire trucks, kind of emergency vehicles, which pass closer to the coast where we are right now. So there is still an air of tension around this part of Japan. As we know, obviously, the emergency work is ongoing. Officials are still trying to find people that are trapped beneath rubble and homes that have been destroyed. But yeah, it has to be said, there is concern about, especially where the emergency response goes from here, because the weather really is deteriorating as well. You can probably see it's starting to rain here as well. There's concern heavy rain this evening into the evening is going to make the emergency response even more difficult. So there is still concern that the death toll could rise further here.
Now, briefly, if you can, there have been reports of misinformation hampering relief efforts. What can you tell us?
Yeah, this has been something that's kind of a concerning development in the aftermath of this earthquake. It's something that Prime Minister Fumio Kishida mentioned in this press conference to the country, which is that there has been this spike of misinformation around this earthquake, and the main kind of narrative that's emerged in the aftermath of this quake was that the earthquake was in some way man-made. This is something that's been spreading quite proliferating on social media. Some of these posts reaching millions of people, and officials have essentially come out. We understand perhaps.
Rain has been, and heavy rain has been forecast for the region there. How will that hamper rescue efforts?
No, that's actually not good at all. I mean, for two reasons. One is that those collapsed buildings, either wood construction or concrete construction, having that the moisture rain coming into it, that become actually unstabilized more. So that's actually the one huge issue. Second is that there's we go through every 5 years. Every 5 years, so this major earthquake happens, and we get into the reconstruction mode.
Good Miyamoto there in northern Japan. Thank you very much for sharing your expertise with us.
Thanks so much.